Complete the following, writing the ratio in simplest rational form. We're going to use our SOHCAHTOA rules here. And that's going to help you remember that sine is equal to the opposite side of the angle you're looking at over the hypotenuse. Cosine would be equivalent to the adjacent side of the angle you're looking at and the hypotenuse of the triangle. And tan would be the ratio of the opposite side and the adjacent side. So in this picture, angle A is the angle in question. So the sine of angle A is going to be equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse. And in this case, the opposite side is the one across from it, so that's 30. And the hypotenuse is the longest side of a right triangle, and it's always directly across from the 90-degree angle. So in this case, it's 34. Now I just ran out of room there, but they do want you to reduce that ratio. So 30 over 34, both those numbers can be divided by 2. So I'm going to leave it as 15 over 17. Okay, let's look at the next one. For cosine, again, we're looking at angle A. Cosine is the adjacent side to that angle, so the side of the triangle that touches that angle over the hypotenuse, which again is always the one directly across from the 90-degree angle. So it's adjacent over hypotenuse, which in this case is 16 over 34. Now again, I'll write my answer at the bottom. They want us to reduce, and 16 and 34 can also both be divided by 2, so I'm going to leave that as 8 over 17. So you maybe have noticed with each of these ratios, they all use the hypotenuse or opposite and adjacent angles in relation to the angle in question. So in case you weren't aware, these trig ratios only work on 90-degree triangles. So a right triangle, that would be one that has a 90-degree angle in it. You couldn't do trig ratios on a triangle without that 90-degree. It wouldn't work. Let's see the last one, tan of angle A. So let me erase what I've written there. So the tan of angle A is going to be equal to the opposite side across from the angle over top of the adjacent side. Now in this case, that's going to be 30 over 16. And I'll put it down here with my other answers. Reduce that if you can, and I can divide by 2, so 15 over 8. When you're talking about trig ratios, it's best to leave it as an improper fraction like I have, 15 over 8. Don't call it 1 7/8. That wouldn't be a proper ratio. If you were going to convert it to a decimal, that would be okay. But as a fraction form, let's leave it as an improper 15 over 8.